Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. I am going to be showing you guys how to apply these crystals without them coming off until your client's next visit. If you guys are interested in watching, stay tuned. Alright, now to get started, what we had first did was apply 2 coats of this China glaze. It is called Dress Me Up. The second thing that we are going to be doing is using this gel top coat. It's the Ultimate Finish Gel. It's a high gloss gel sealer, and I like to use this over regular polish. And so I am just going to go ahead and apply that right now. The only thing is when you do apply it over regular polish, you want to make sure that there's no dots before you cure your gel, just because sometimes I notice the gel like to separate from itself and create kind of like craters in the top coat. So usually it's like the first one that you do that, it'll get like that just from sitting for a little while, so you have to usually go back and just swipe the first one just real quick and then pop them in the light. Make sure you get all the tips of the nails. I'm just going to take off some of the product off of the brush just because I think I put too much. And what I'll do is I'll just wipe it. Okay. Now we are going to be doing the thumb. And this doesn't have to be a very thick layer. With me, I do like to put quite a bit on and then take it off as I go, just so I could make sure that I get it all over the nail. But if you put a big glob on it, you're not going to want to keep it on. I'll just go back and wipe it off to the side, and I'll show you what I mean by that. And as you see, there's still like quite a bit of product on these nails. And sometimes when you have too much product on it, it will tend to lose its shape. I'm just going to go ahead and pop those into the light, and I'm going to be putting them in the light for 30 seconds. Alright, the next thing that we are going to be doing is we are going to be getting Swarovski crystals. The reason why Swarovski crystals, they are very, very, very important to spend the money on these and not the cheaper ones, just because the other ones, I think they're called preciosas. I'm not exactly sure if I'm pronouncing it right, but I know with those ones, they tend to come off because the backing of them aren't that great. So sometimes it won't even really be the glue that you're using. It'll just be the backing that will allow it to fall off easier. So I noticed with these ones, the backing on them, it allows it to adhere to the nail and not come off. So they will last until the next time that your client comes in. And another thing that I feel like is very important is that you have to use a gel top coat. Because if you are using regular polish, it won't end up, using the regular polish in a regular top coat, it'll just let the stones come off. I noticed that they don't really last as long. Alright, so I'm just going to be pouring some of these into the caps. I don't really like to pick from this big container just because if I do that, I feel like it does end up making it harder, and sometimes I'll get more on it than I'd like because it's like dipping it in there. Oops. If you dip it in there, look how many you get, you know. And you could try to be as careful as you can, but sometimes it just happens. So it's easier just doing it this way. I had learned this technique from
a very, very, very talented nail tech. Her name is Fabby's Nails, and she had told me what product she uses, and ever since then I've never had a problem with my stones. So I hope that you guys find this useful.
So the next thing that we are going to be doing, you are going to want to make sure that you don't have any oils on the nail whatsoever. Just because sometimes if you put cuticle oil before you put the stone, they will not adhere. So what I like to do is use this montage glue, and it is it's resin, not glue. It's stronger than a normal. It's stronger than what a normal glue is. So what I am going to be doing is I am going to be getting a little bit of rubbing alcohol and removing the oil off of the nails to make sure, just in case, because I know I was touching them quite a bit once they were cured and everything. So what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be doing kind of the same as my last post of nails, where I did it going a smile line and then going down, just because I did like the way that looks. Okay, so what I like to do is make sure when I'm doing them is having my nails straight up. And then I like to start from the middle and work my way out. And what this is a wax pencil. It's from Ardell. It works really good. I like it a lot. And it comes with a sharpener on the back. So if you need to sharpen it again, which is very convenient. And another tip that I could tell you guys with using stones is what you also want to do is make sure you put on a good amount of glue, because if you don't put on a good amount of glue, what will happen is that the stones will catch in your hair. And then with them always pulling and stuff, they're more likely to come off than if you have them completely glued down. And it's nice because with the glossy nails, you are able to do a little bit more glue without it looking bad than if you were to go and do matte nails. Matte nails, you have to be a lot more careful with those. And I like to go all the way up. Okay, I'm not sure exactly what the sizes are. I know this one in the middle, I think, or you know what, was it the smaller ones? I know I have a size 6. I think these ones might be a size 6, the smaller ones. 6 or an 8. I'm not sure, I'm sorry you guys. I never really pay attention to size just because the lady that she has them for sale where I go. She has them all displayed, so I just tell her like, oh, I want these ones or these ones. So I never really paid attention to the sizes. But usually these are the sizes that I do use. I don't really try to use a whole bunch of in-between sizes. I know some nail techs, they like to do that, but with me, I feel like they work for me. And Another one that you can use, I feel like with any gel top coat, it pretty much works on having the stones adhere to them. I feel like it never really causes a problem. So what I think I'm going to do is I'm going to be adding a matte nail, or 2 matte nails to this set. I'm going to be putting my pointer finger and my pinky matte. And I will also be adding I'll also be adding crystals to this pointer matte. And the matte top coat that I'm using, and that I've been using quite a bit ever since I had did my best matte top coat reviews, is this one, the Koopa matte top coat. So if you guys would like to see more pictures from that, just look on my Instagram and you'll see like all of the recent pictures. They're not the lacked one. I did like the lacked, but I just feel like using it, you had to wipe it down and stuff. And that one, it's a little bit, it's easy to make errors with that one than it is this one. Okay, now that these are done, I am going to be putting this into the light for 30 seconds. And when you guys have these mattes, the best thing to do is keep them out of in front of the light and keep them shut, just because you don't want them to cure and then make the product have lumps inside the product. So even when you guys do store your gels, it's best to kind of put them somewhere where the sun doesn't shine on them too much, just because since it is a UV, it will end up curing your gels. You see how pretty that looks? I'm going to put it in one more time for another 30 seconds. But my Koopa, you could tell it's very used. I always get gel on here, so that's what that is. It's one of my favorite mattes. That one and the Koopa one are my favorite mattes. Alright, now that we are all done with that, I'm going to be putting some around the cuticle on this hand, or on this finger, I mean. Okay, so I'm going to be getting the Montage glue once again, and I am going to be putting them around the cuticle. Make sure you put a decent amount. I wanted to do the matte just so I'm able to show you guys. Even if it does get, or you put enough glue, it doesn't look bad. You'd rather have enough than not enough, just because then then you have the stones coming off, and that looks uglier than having, like, if you can see the glue, it comes out a little bit from underneath the stone, and nobody ever really notices that, so I wouldn't stress too much about it. But you have to learn the consistency of the glues that you are using, because if you don't learn the consistencies of them, sometimes you'll end up applying too much. And with me, I love having the brush on it, just because you could apply very little at a time and start dabbing more and more on if you need to. If you use the ones that are like have a little tip on them, I'll show you those right now. Like if you use these ones, which the place where I go to buy supplies, they also have these, but these have like the little tips on it. When you do use these, they are good. A lot of people, they do like to use them, but with me, I just find that sometimes too much glue comes out at once. So having the brush, it does help a lot. It's like with the smaller ones, you want to just like make sure you just do the tiniest bit. See, like that. And I don't like to apply too much glue at once, just because I feel like sometimes it'll tend to dry up. And say if you place the stone down, with the resin, it doesn't dry right away like a super glue would. This one, it kind of gives a little bit of time, so you could push them around into place and make sure you pat them down. Alright. And that is the finished look. And another thing, this is something that is very important when your clients go, just because this does take a second to dry, the resin, it's not like super glue. So since it takes a little while to dry, if your clients go and wash their hands right after, it will end up getting white around the crystals where that glue is seeping out from underneath that you don't really notice. So you just want to make sure that when you are doing the nails, make sure that they don't end up having to go to the restroom right away.
I hope you guys loved today's video, and as usual, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe to my channel. And as usual, I'll be back with more video. Bye!